Brown, a utilities analyst at Energy Consultants in Enco. Hi, thanks for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. What do you make of all this then?
Well, good evening, Kay. It's quite an interesting argument because the water industry is still the most regulated of all the utilities, albeit opening up already in Scotland and from 2017, which Enco are part of the opening up of. But I think it's something we should embrace. I love seeing a proactive regulator rather than what we've got in the energy industry, which sometimes can be viewed as a reactive regulator. But here we've got a regulator turning down this application from Thames for an increase, pending if Thames want to appeal.
Wait, it did look as though they were ramping up those costs, though, didn't they? It already had a certain amount built in, inflation plus 1.4%. Now they're asking for another 8% on top.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get this in context because, I mean, we do a fair amount of advising of energy to the water sector. The water sector is probably the largest sector in terms of energy consumption as well. But in terms of water supply and Thames in particular, they're running, without question, the oldest network of its size probably anywhere in the world. They've inherited, or the owners of Thames have got a system that is fraught with leaks, which is a never-ending problem. As they fix one leak, another leak emerges. And of course, they've also got a very densely populated area that is very difficult to work on and difficult to install things like meters and some of those things that the other water companies in the other areas of the country are doing. I mean, Thames is the largest energy consumer, which I think you're going to want to talk about in a moment.
Am I? Why am I going to want to talk about that then?
Well, I think from an energy perspective, and I touched on it, that the industry is fundamentally different. With the water sector, they have a lot more control of their supply chain. For a start, the actual product that they're managing is very natural in terms of clean water and in terms of the sewerage side of it. But really, what we've got here is that is a natural supply. They can store it relatively easily, and there's an infrastructure there to store it. And of course, in terms of energy, we're talking about a globally managed commodity, which is what we've seen very volatile in the past and present. But also, what you've got with energy is the transportation side, which still is regulated, is going through a huge change to gear up to handle all of this renewable and micro generation systems that are putting power into the grid. So we've got a lot of intermittent generation coming into the grid at points all around the country, and the grid wasn't designed to do that, and that's why the government and perhaps the regulator is letting the energy industry have a slightly more license to introduce rises, which is of course what we're seeing at the moment.
Okay, you're right, Rob. I did want to talk about that. I also just want to ask you one other question. Is it really true, or is it an urban myth, that Thames Water has been drunk 7 times before you drink it?
I wouldn't possibly like to comment on their live leakage currently. All I do know is I will stand by Thames and say that they have got, without question, the hardest network in one of the best cities in the world.
Okay, great to talk to you, Rob. Thanks for joining us here on Sky News this afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Family of